Spider-Man's here. Nope. Spider-Man has gas. So now we get to see what sort of fun is under the floor. Susan's really excited about getting the floor the heck out of here.
Yes.
We're going to see what happens.
There could have been that. They found one in the laundry room that kind of just got stubbed out. All right, well, call me if we need advice or if you want to just help coordinate and hold stuff up for the on Saturday. All right.
OSB and glue.
Bye.
More linoleum! Yay! What it looks like we have is linoleum on top of some of those little squares of linoleum on top of some sort of decorative linoleum, again on top of maybe even another layer of linoleum. Let's see. There's tar paper. Nope. That's the bottom linoleum. Yep. And then finally, there is our hardwood floor. Woo! Well, let's get scraping. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a dreary, snowy Saturday morning. Here's where we're at. Cabinets have been delivered. Spider-Man's here. We got all the 80,000 layers of floor ripped up. And of course underneath is this tar felt. And this has been fun. We're slowly getting that up. On the docket for today is to get the walls finished up, the ceiling finished up, the lights cut out, everything skim coated, dishwasher out, stove out. Can't think of what else. We'll get there. And hopefully get started on getting the cabinets in this evening. As you can see, we're going to be pushing for it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the kitchen. It's the next day. Had hoped to have the cabinets up, but alas, we don't. The appliances will be here shortly. And here's where we're at. Spent most of the day getting tar off the floor, as well as trying to figure out the wiring. They had some interesting methodologies. Surprise under the dishwasher. Don't even know where half of this goes. We're going to start playing with circuits later. But top item on the agenda now is to finish skim coating. Late last night in the wee hours, I put a first coat up on this side of the kitchen, and it went pretty well. I used a texture gun and sprayed it on and then smoothed it out, and went okay. Today what I did was drilled out the orifice in the texture gun more so I could put a thicker layer on. We're going to thin out the mixture too. My poor little compressor was overheating and stopping because it was running continuously, and we need to just get a layer on and get it smoothed out, so stay tuned. Good morning, and we've been pretty busy here, mostly working on the ceiling. Look at how nice and smooth that is. Oh, isn't that beautiful? So, the trick to skim coating, I've found, is technique and materials. And I was using the wrong material. So, for the longest time, I hated the green stuff. You know why? Because I used it to patch holes. This hole here has been drying for 3 days, and it is still wet. But this stuff is magical for skim coating. I mean, look at that. So, lessons learned. This stuff is great for patching holes and small work and maybe some other stuff, but it's not the greatest for skim coating. This stuff, I gotta say, hats off to the old school people who have been using plaster for doing walls and ceilings and other finishes for years and years and years, because plaster dries so darn quickly that you got to work fast and you got to be precise and you got to be good at what you do to use it. So we are almost ready for paint. I'm going to scrape off some of the little high points sticking up, fill in any little tiny holes I see, maybe run a little sandpaper, run a sponge over the ceiling. You can see I figured out the wiring. Had a great time learning the electrical. McKenna's gonna help, right? Okay. And new appliances came. There's our fridge. There's our oven, stove. Got our microwave and dishwasher waiting out here in the wing. Got a little pressure from my better half to get these cabinets up and get this thing done. So, without further ado, I'm gonna wrap this up. One other thing I forgot to mention, using the texture gun to get the material up on the ceiling was great. However, the parts of the ceiling that I had patched, like you remember this corner over here with the big old leveling we did, and then a couple other places where we had patched where that wall was, got that nice and smooth. The pre-existing dried joint compound would just suck the moisture out of that texture right away. And if I wanted a textured ceiling, it'd be great, but I was not able to smooth it down quickly enough to get a nice smooth surface. Now, the parts of the room that did not have pre-existing texture, it worked great just to get it up there so I didn't have to use my knife and spray it up there or slap it up there and then smooth it out. So, yeah, in the future, I guess I'll just have to do it the old school way. The good way. Well, just finished a light sanding with some 120 grit screen. Look at that. Holy cow. That is beautiful. That is what I was going for. So now we're going to wipe it down, get all the dust off, and paint.